Hello everybody and welcome to one more Learn French with Nazrina online tutorial. My tutorials are developed to help those who are already learning French as a foreign language. And today I'm going to be talking about the demonstrative adjective. L'adjectif démonstratif, like how they say in French. So before I go on to talking about what is a demonstrative adjective in French, let's get our basics correct and learn what is a demonstrative adjective is in English. So, in case we all don't remember, this, that is example of a demonstrative adjective, this or that. And then these or those are also example of a demonstrative adjective. So basically this, that, these, those are demonstrative adjective in English. So now let's talk about how these are going to be said in French. Okay, let me get my pen ready. So, as we all know, in French we have nouns that can be either masculine or feminine. And obviously there could be a masculine singular, a masculine plural, or a feminine singular and a feminine plural. And like all of the grammar rules in French, of course there are exceptions here and there as we all come to know, the demonstrative adjective also has to agree with the number and gender of the nouns, meaning if the noun is in singular or plural, or if it's on masculine and feminine, it has to agree with it. Okay, so let's see how this is going to pan out. So for a noun that is a masculine singular, we use the word ce. Okay, masculine singular. And for a feminine singular, we use the word cette. Okay, and both ce and cette mean this or that. And then for a masculine noun beginning with a vowel or h mute, we use the word set. And for a feminine, it remains the same as cette. Okay, this set is mainly used because to give the liaison, okay, because when you say ce and then the noun beginning with the vowel, for example, ce homme, it sounds a bit odd, right, like ce homme. So we add this t just to make the liaison a bit more better. So it will be cet homme. So remember, for masculine singular nouns beginning with a vowel or h mute, we use the word set. Okay, do not confuse the pronunciation of set with cette. Now for nouns which are either a masculine plural or feminine plural, we use the word say. Okay, so I hope it is easy. For masculine singular we use ce, feminine singular we use cette, masculine singular noun beginning with a vowel or h mute is set. For feminine it remains the same as cette, and for masculine plural it's say, and feminine plural is say too. Okay, so these two over here mean this or that. Remember, singular, right? So we say this book, this house, that house. So ce or set or set all mean this or that. And for plural, we are not going to be saying this or that, right? We are going to be saying these or those. So obviously these two words say mean these or those. Alright. So a quick recap. Masculine singular ce, feminine singular set. Masculine singular with a vowel or h mute is set. Feminine singular beginning with vowel or h mute remains as cette. And for plural, whether it's masculine or feminine, it is say. Alright. So this is ce. Remember, ce, say. Ce, say. That's how it is pronounced. So let's do some examples here. Okay, I'm going to be shifting one screen to that side, and so that is easier for you guys to follow. And let me clear out all these little things that I did over here so that it's going to be easier. when we look at the exercises. Okay, so this screen over here to your left is going to be your exercise screen. So let me just scroll down, and this is going to be our key or our little cheat sheet over here. So I have placed the nouns all in one column, and I've also indicated what they are, masculine. Okay, I'm not going to be writing whether they are plural or singular, because I think that's pretty easy to understand. Needless to say, like in English, all the nouns ending with S denote plural, or they will be ending with X for those masculine plural nouns, right? Alright, so I've just indicated the gender of the nouns. The first word, bato, this is a masculine singular noun. So what are we going to be using here? For a masculine singular noun, we use sir, right? So we are going to be inputting sir here. The next word, ceinture, it's an example of a feminine singular noun. Okay, it means belt, said ceinture. Okay, so what do we use for feminine singular? For feminine singular, we use set, right? So, sorry, my screen keeps jumping around. So, for a feminine singular noun, we use the word set. So, I'm going to be writing set over here. Oops. Now, the next word, om. So, this is an example of a masculine singular, but beginning with a vowel. I mean, not with a vowel, sorry, with H mute. So, what do we use for H mute? For a masculine singular that begins with a vowel or H mute, we use set, right? So, we are going to be putting set over here. Oops, sorry. This was We are going to be putting set over here. And remember, this is pronounced as setom. Okay, setom. The next word, garçon, example of a masculine singular. So, we use the word sir. The next one, horloge, example of a feminine singular. So, we use set. Let's go on to the next column. Panier, this is masculine and it's in plural. So, what do we use? We use say, right? Remember, whether it's a masculine or a feminine plural, we use say. Next one, homme. Now, this is masculine, but it begins with a H aspirated. It is not a H mute. It's a H aspirated. So, what do? Do we use the word set? No, we don't. We use the word sir as usual. Oops. We use the word sir. Why did we use sir although it's a masculine singular and beginning with H? Because this is an example of a noun beginning with H aspirated. It's not H mute. H mute was this one over here, right? This noun was an example of H mute. So, we use the word set. But this is an example of H aspirated. So, we use sir. And see how it's pronounced is sir hom. It's not a sir om. It's a hom. So, we pronounce the letter h. Sir hom. The next one, om in plural, masculine plural. So, what do we use? We use say. These men, right? Ces hommes. So, as you must have noticed, whenever a noun begins with H mute, obviously the H becomes mute, right? So, we don't pronounce the letter H at all. It's pronounced as om. So, when we say these men, we don't say om. We say ces hommes. There's a liaison between the S, the S of the S and the first letter H. There's a liaison. So, ces hommes. Next one, hush. This is feminine singular, and this is an example of a noun that begins with H aspirated. So what do we use? Sir. Oh sorry, set hush, because it's feminine, so it's going to be set hush. So remember how I pronounce hush? It is hush, not ash. It's hush. Set hush. The last one, you blow. This is an example of a noun beginning with H, and does it begin with H mute or H aspirated? This is a H aspirated. So if it is H aspirated, what do? We use the word sir. If it was H mute, then we would have used set. I mean the CE with a T in the end. But this is an example of a H aspirated. So we use the word sir and not set. So sir, you blow. You blow. We say the word you blow, the H is pronounced. Okay. And in my previous lessons, I taught about how you distinguish the nouns beginning with H mute or H aspirated. In case you don't remember that, please go back to my tutorial. I'll provide a link below, and you can go and look at the tutorial to see how you can distinguish between nouns beginning with H mute and H aspirated. In a nutshell, it's how they are written in the phonetic language. The nouns beginning with H aspirated begin with an apostrophe in the beginning in the phonetic language. Okay, so whenever you see in the phonetic language there is an apostrophe is there, it indicates that the H has to be pronounced. Okay, back to the lesson. Here are some little notes that you need to keep in mind when we deal with demonstrative adjective. Okay, first one, demonstrative adjective should be placed before each noun. What does this mean? Now in English, we say this boy and girl like my cat. This boy and girl like my cat. We do not say this boy and this girl like my cat. So what we do is we generally ignore the demonstrative adjective in English. We do not put this boy and this girl. But in French, we have to specify the demonstrative adjective. So if I am going to be translating this sentence in French, it's going to be what? Ce garçon est cette fille est mon chat. So ce garçon est cette fille. So we say ce garçon est cette fille, basically emphasizing that this boy and this girl. Okay. Just a quick note, in English we have a tendency to omit the demonstrative adjective, but in French a demonstrative adjective should be placed before each noun. Okay. Now the second note to keep in mind is that in French, there is no distinction between this and that. That you must have seen while I was explaining the demonstrative adjective right from the beginning. Like this word over here, sir and set, or this one set or set mean this or that. This can either mean this or that. This can either mean this or that. Likewise in the plural also, say can either mean these or those. Say can either mean these or those. There's basically nothing to identify, right? If I'm going to say sir, it either means this or that. If I'm going to say, it means either these or those. So there's basically no distinction. But what if we need to distinguish between this and that, like this boy, that girl, this boy is better than that boy. How do we do it? So I'm going to talk about that next. So if you are going to be placing emphasis, that's what I said, if you have to say that this boy, that girl, this book, that notebook, how do we say that? So we do that by adding the word si or la. So this si, if I am adding si, it means this. Basically si means here, right? But when I add it at the end of the noun, if I say set om si, this means what? This man. It can also mean that man if I just say set om. But if I am going to add the si in the end, if I add the si in the end, it means this man. This man. Like it means only this man. It doesn't mean that man. If I change it to let's say la, of course I would need to add that what's that accent grave. If I say set tom la, it means that man. So if I say set om la, it means that man. But if I said set om si, like how it was initially, it means this man. So the next example, set robe la. I use set because robe is a what? Feminine singular. And I use set over here because this is masculine singular beginning with what? H mute. So anyways, next example, set robe la. It means that dress. In plural, ces gants si, these gloves, si. Ces maison, sorry, this has to be ces maison la, not robe. So if it's ces maison la, it means those houses. So the word si means this, and then la means that. Si means this, and la means that. So cet homme si, ces gants si, cette robe la, ces maisons la. So if you use si at the end of the noun, it means, it emphasizes that this stands for like this man, this man. But if you say la at the end, it means that. So that is a little bit of distinction. So I just use these words in some little sentences. Tu veux ce livre-ci ou ce livre-là. It means what? You want this book or that book. Remember, we use la here, so it means that, and we use si here, so it means this. And if you look at this next sentence, ces chemises sont propres, mais ces robes-là sont sales. It means these shirts are clean, but what is this? Ces robes-là. Since I use the word la, it means those dresses. Okay, so these shirts are clean, but those dresses are dirty. Okay, so a quick recap as to why we use si and la. Whenever we use si, like at the end of the noun, and there's a demonstrative adjective here, it emphasizes, it means rather this. And if you use la at the end, it means that. And likewise for the plural forms, these gloves, those houses. So in a sentence, it says what? You want this book because I use si, or that book because la. Then these shirts, because si is here, are clean, but those dresses because la is used. I hope this was pretty simple to understand. I know it could be a bit confusing, especially when you are faced with the H mute and H aspirated. And as I mentioned, explained rather, whenever a masculine singular noun begins with a H mute is what? Whenever the H is not pronounced in a noun, then we use set. Okay, but if it's H aspirated, we will continue to use sir. For feminine nouns, it makes no difference because we still use set, whether it's H mute or H aspirated. It's only for the masculine that it makes a difference, because for a masculine singular beginning, beginning with H mute, we use set. And likewise for any noun beginning with a vowel too, right? Masculine singular vowel. Whereas for feminine, we continue to use this. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, right? And be careful when we use the demonstrative adjectives, because like I said, it has to agree with the number as well as the gender. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to either write to me or leave a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to respond or explain further. And yeah, please like this video if you find this useful. Please share it to anybody else, or your classmate, or whoever else is learning French and whom you think might find it useful. Okay, so yeah, till the next time, take care and happy learning.